Mic test one. Mic test one. Mic test one.
Balls.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Hello, Internet. It's Jane, and you are listening to Jane Plays Games, your favorite really okay podcast.
The okayest.
The okayest podcast on the Internet.
You're
Trademark. I'm joined by the fabulous Jack. Say hello.
Hello.
And this is, wow, we've been doing this for we've been pretty consistent, at least with this part of our channel, I feel.
the only part.
The only part that we've been pretty much consistent of. So that's good. I feel like that deserves some recognition.
We did it.
I think we're doing fine. So Jack, how was your week? What have you been playing? What have you been doing?
I've been playing a lot more of the same. Nothing.
No news anymore?
Nothing that really piqued my interest really came out. I ended up picking up Space Hulk Deathwing for my PC. I fixed my PC, which ate up a lot of my week. Yeah. I'm pretty sure
Wait, did Space Hulk Death Week actually come out?
It's been out for the PC for a while.
Oh, just not for console.
Yeah, no, it just didn't come out for console, and I have problems waiting for things, so I wanted to take a look at it. And biggest problem was that I think I almost burned my PC down, so That was interesting. Yeah, it changed the power settings, and I think I might have nearly torched my graphics card. But
yeah, you were pretty steamy for like a couple days there.
Yeah, I was not a happy camper. I couldn't figure out what was wrong for a while. I managed to salvage it. It seems to be running fine now, so I'm pretty sure I fixed it. But we'll see. But I'm pretty sure I know what happened. So
well, that's good.
Yeah. So my PC works again, and I'm not contemplating it, throwing it out into the street and beating it with a hammer.
Oh my gosh, I would come home from work. I'm like, hey babe, what you doing? You fucking with your computer again? And he would look at me with this glare that, I mean, I'm pretty sure Satan himself would be like, dude, chill. Like it was real rough. But no, we were real surprise. We were really busy this week. Well, I was really busy this week. With, everything. It was better this week. I feel like now that Christmas shopping is finally done, we were adults this year and actually Christmas shop for people.
Well, we did do that. We took some swings this Christmas.
Oh, we got real brave. Rolk, I'm so sorry.
Hey, it could be worse. I canceled that Amazon order.
No, but we only replaced it. But yeah, we took some swings for Christmas, so that we were adulty in that regard.
Well, I mean, it's not that we didn't do anything. If anything, you actually got more playtime in this week than you have in a while.
I agree with that. It
wasn't anything new.
Yeah.
Like, we streamed a bit more. Mm-hmm. We played a lot more Siege. You played a lot more Duelist, but there's just nothing really new to report, which I don't see as a bad thing.
No, I think that's good because I'm kind of developing favorites, I think, and I think that's good. And I'm like, it's not that this was ever a chore, but it is work for me because I'm having to constantly improve mechanics and constantly learn new things.
You're not surrounded by people who are new. That's the other issue, is that a lot of us got into this when Halo first became a thing. It didn't matter how good you were at console games before this point, because Xbox Live wasn't really a thing. Using a controller with a dual analog stick in a competitive first-person shooter, we all kind of learned together, and you're coming in really, really late to that party.
Yeah.
So anytime you play a competitive first-person shooter, especially on the console, I mean, arguably on the PC as well, but at least you have kind of the, lost the word, but the mechanics of the PC,
the muscle memory.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for. The muscle memory. The muscle memory of using a keyboard and a mouse, you have that already. Mm-hmm. So at least on the PC, there's some carryover, but on a controller, if you never picked one up before,
It's very, very different.
yeah. And we did stream a bit more.
I was proud of that. I think we did, because we finally got it's called an Elgato, a capture card.
Yeah, we got the Elgato capture card, and we're still ironing out some of the issues. That was another thing that...
Yeah, if you're listening to this and you were a part of that stream and it sounded like dog shit, it's because we're still learning.
Well, part of it was our settings.
Yeah.
That was a part of it. The other issue was that we picked a night that Thursday night football was on.
Yeah.
So I think I ironed it out, but it's hard to say what were our issues and what were Thursday night football's issues, because they're just going to eat up so much of Twitch. And anytime they do a big thing like that on Twitch, it seems like if you're not a big Twitch streamer, and even if you are a big Twitch streamer, you're going to experience some problems.
Yeah, and I feel like Twitch was having some issues this week regardless, because I streamed Duelist a couple times and had problems with the chat. So again, if you were listening to or watching that stream and trying to connect with me via chat, and I didn't respond, I promise I wasn't being an asshole. Like, it just wasn't showing up on my screen that anything in the chat was going on. I thought I was just talking to the void.
And that's probably another symptom of them gearing up for Thursday night football. They've had problems in the past. They obviously had problems again. So we'll see. Like I said, I think I ironed out all the issues on our end. So I think we'll be fine. Yeah. So the Twitch, now the Twitch stream is much easier to do.
So much. And finally, I mean, now that this is becoming like a thing, we're developing a space. So like right now, the biggest part for us is, I think, tear up and setup. Like making sure we have everything together.
So if you've seen any of the videos or the Twitch streams, you've either seen us in the living room or in our kitchen. That's where we currently have the setup. But we do have space upstairs for an office. So
we're under construction. So we're going to have a change of setting, but it's going to be good. I'm very excited for that. But other than that, I mean, yeah, I think it was a big week gameplay wise. It was just wasn't, like you said, anything new. What else have we been doing? Oh, I saw Star Wars last night. Be jealous. Yeah, I don't like movie theaters, so I haven't seen them yet. Oh, it's real good. I was 100% impressed. Other than that, you know what we did watch together? What was that? There's a game called Smite. It's a free-to-play that Jack's been really interested in since we started dating, I think. And it's a game that I'm probably the most serious about, which is why it kind of stopped being fun, both for me and a lot of people that I play with. It can be fun when we're on, but I'm very competitive to begin with. A little. So I generally am angriest with myself at any given moment, but my issue with Smite has been their competitive mode doesn't mirror their professional mode. And that's been my sticking point with them for a while, is that they don't really seem interested in changing how the game works and what the thoughts are in that game. Because you have your pros and you have your established teams, but the way that ranked works is you can only bring in, I believe it's 2 people. So you're still working with 2 randos, which means you can never get a good team practice in unless you've already established a team and you're playing against other teams. So what you see in the Pro League is you see these great ranked players who play great in the current system, and they're brought up to the big leagues, but you never see a true change in how people play the game, and you're just not going to until you allow people to practice as a team, on the open net. So it's just kind of frustrating, because if you disagree with the meta, you're going to get banned, or, you're going to experience that really toxic environment that MOBAs are known for. So there's not a lot of free thought. And I find that frustrating.
It's that you're not allowing for experimentation, and I think that's a bad overall thing for the game. And personally, I don't really like playing with random people anymore. I don't really enjoy it that much. Most people that I meet, especially on Xbox Live, I don't really like that much. I mean...
Like that asshole that... so this is off topic. Going back to Siege for like 2 seconds. I played multiplayer for the first time this week.
Yeah.
And did pretty okay.
Yeah, it was surprising. I mean, your mechanics have gotten better, but they're still not there. Mm-hmm. And you did very well. Like, when you were playing people with a higher skill ceiling, you were having trouble. Like, you're trying to play Ella, and it really wasn't working for you. But when we got you back on Rook, and, you were able to put out that armor for everybody, which is instantaneously helpful, and we got you back with his shotgun, and it just seemed to work for you. You were having a much easier time.
Yeah. But no, you were just talking about toxic environments in MOBAs and in online games and Xbox Live, and I think I've got to experience that truly for the first time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, well, because you remember, like, that one guy kept team killing me for, like, no reason. I think he just really wanted to be Rook, because it was anytime I picked Rook, he would team kill me. Remember? Yeah. And so it was an interesting kind of introduction. And, I mean, I've seen you guys play Smite before, and, like, I didn't really understand the toxicity or understand the true competitiveness of online games and MOBAs and shooters. I didn't get it. Like, I didn't understand why people were so competitive, or just to the degree that people would go for it.
Well, the problem with Smite is that people are really tiny-hearted about it. Like, they're unwilling to stick through bad points to possibly pull out a win. And if one person's doing it, it's fine. Like, for the most part, you can work around that. I mean, me and Crispy and Rolk have had a lot of games where it's like, we're just getting stomped. And we don't quit. We stick with it. It's, counterintuitive to a lot of people. But, if your plan's going the way you think it should go and you're winning, then you're going to win. Like, it's not hard to play from being up. Playing from being down is where I think you get a lot better. Mm-hmm. And people just want to quit. I mean, me and Crispy have talked about it, and a good 30% of the time, we turn horrible beatings into wins. I mean, that's not, it's not a great percentage, but it does happen fairly regularly. 3 out of 10 is not bad. And, if it's one thing if they're toying with you and, like, just kind of killing you to rack up kills. That's one thing. Like, we concede perfectly fine then because they've won. But if we're just down, we don't just quit. And it's surprising the amount of times that we win because of it. Mm. And it's always funny because you see that person who, like, just sits in spawn or, like, is just talking shit. And then they see that the four of us, without their help, have turned the game around. And then they want to start helping. And it's like, you know how much easier this would have been if you would have stepped up, 5-10 minutes ago and bothered, to keep playing instead of quitting. Mm. And that's frustrating with me, especially with the regularity that we do turn it around. Mm. So I think that's just a MOBA issue in general. It seems like a lot of people, if they're not winning in the first 10 to 15 minutes, they just want to be done and move on to the next one, which I kind of understand. But
I mean, I understand that even because, like, especially being, it's really like I'm being really hard on myself, but being as shitty as I am, like, it would be much easier to just put this down and be like, this is a stupid fucking project, I'm over it. Or I hate this game because I'm not good at it, or I'm not proficient, or because it's not fun to lose. But I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned in this experiment, in this project, is, like, I have a lot of respect for these gamers, especially, professionals or pre-professional gamers who, I mean, this takes a lot of concentration. This takes a lot of effort. This takes a lot of dedication to do.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this week you kind of introduced me into like the world of esports, which I kind of knew was a thing. Like I was vaguely aware that, you know, people played competitively.
Well, here's the problem with, I tried to introduce you to it, and it's tough to introduce people to it. And I think that a lot of people who are esports advocates don't want to grapple with that issue. It's that growing up, we all have been conditioned or learned the rules of baseball, football, traditional sports. Mm-hmm. Like, even if you didn't play them, you have a grasp on them. Now, even after playing Siege and watching me play Smite, I can turn on a pro game and you don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. The camera changes too often. There's a lot more going on than in traditional sports because, okay, so let's take Smite, for example. Okay, so they picked 10 gods. So now
Can you explain really quickly, just for people who don't know what Smite is, like just the very, very basics of the game?
It's a MOBA, except it's set in third person. It's a third person version of League of Legends or Dota, and if you don't know what those two games are, I don't know how you got here, if I'm being totally honest. But it's just played from the third person perspective. So at the onset, they're picking 10 different gods. All of those gods are going to have 4 different abilities, so that's 40 different abilities.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
Yeah. So now you need to be explained what all of those abilities do and the nuance of all those abilities and how they all work together. Mm-hmm. That's quite a bit. Now, for a game that I think has 60 or 70 gods, it might be more than that. Mm-hmm. So now you also need to explain how these abilities can work together and what all their different synergies are, which is even more. And then that's, without even explaining how the map works, what the flow of the game is, any of that stuff. So that's a lot already. All of that is already a lot. Then we talk about item builds. Each god has 6 slots for items. So it's just a lot. So if you don't have a baseline knowledge of the game or a lot of hands-on experience, it would be hard to understand even with somebody explaining it to you. So that's already a lot. And then we get into items builds because each god can have 6 items and that can be very diverse. And you got to know what all those weapons do and what the build order is. It's just a lot. And if you don't have a high baseline knowledge of the game, it's hard to get into. And that's without the camera being really erratic and kind of hard to watch a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. So that's always been my sticking point with esports, is that if you don't have a high knowledge of the game, it's really hard to get into. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've taken a lot of strides to make that better, but until we see something, I think, really revolutionary in the esports world, and I just mean camera-wise and kind of free-flowing explanation-wise, I just don't see it
picking up.
Well, I mean, it is picking up, but I think that's because more people are picking up the games. I just don't think you're going to pick up anyone who isn't already a fan of the game.
So picking up new followers, you think?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the difficult part.
No, and I agree. I think, because I've seen you watch tournaments with Crispy and Rolk, and they're really hard to follow. They look interesting, and I mean, you guys are so into them because you have such a serious grasp of the game. But I found it really interesting because, I think we mentioned a little bit earlier, but we watched this documentary that gave me the most feels. Oh, yeah. Oh my God! Can we talk about it?
Yeah, Smite released the Barracuda and Jeff Hinla story, who are 2 Smite players who have played together for a long time. And Jane got very sad.
It wasn't sad. It was just emotional. Oh my God.
You had a lot of feelings about it.
I had a lot of feelings. And it made me want to get into esports. And it made me want to get into, Smite and games like that. Because, there's such a sense of camaraderie and such a sense of teamwork that I didn't even realize was there. And they were just best friends. And they wanted to play with each other and make each other proud. And I might have cried a lot about it.
It's true. Well, I mean, and that's the other part of it is that gaming gets a lot of bad rap for the toxic elements, but there's not really a lot of focus put on the
purity of that friendship.
Yeah, that.
It was so sweet. Oh, my life. Anyway, so that's what I think I want to try to get a hold of this week. I want to at least try to pick up a 6 as far as Smite. You're welcome, Rolk and Crispy. You've been bitching about it long enough. And now the master, Jack, is going to try not to murder me and try to teach me. Gotta learn me some.
I teach people by yelling at them.
It's very, very effective. I'm very scared 100% of the time. TBH. So
I mean, I've been out of Smite for a minute just because I got tired of how ranked worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't fun for me. So
but now you have a new grasshopper to teach.
We'll see.
Master Miyagi to...
We'll see.
It'll be a good time.
We will see.
So we'll probably end up streaming that. At least I'd like to stream the first go-round or maybe film a Let's Play. The Elgato is making my life so much easier because now I don't have to pick between streaming or recording. Now we can do both.
True. Well, we'll see how
effective it is.
Yeah.
But, I mean... We'll see. Things are happening. Jane Plays Games is currently under construction, but in a good way, I promise.
Yeah.
Yes. Other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we did or appreciated this week or tried this week. It wasn't a slow week. It was just a very same old kind of week.
It was a working on the basics kind of week.
Yeah, it was definitely a back to basics construction kind of week. So yeah, it was a pretty slow week in Jane Plays Games, but it was a good week. I'm proud of me.
You did it?
I did it. I feel like I did okay in multiplayer, which was important. I feel like I did okay in Duelist, which was important. I feel like I watched a lot of Lucha Underground, which was extremely important.
It's true. That did get done.
And I did see Star Wars. So...
You did it?
10 out of 10. Go Jane.
The best.
Real MVP. Honestly, I'm winning at all of this, so...
All right.
You need to catch up. So anyway, what?
We have new thumbnails because Crispy is the best.
Yes, we do have new thumbnails now. So if you're looking at our beautiful new thumbnail, thank you. Huge shout out to our good friend, Mr. Crispy.
Freddy.
He's our friend.
Freddy-o.
Well, I mean, I guess it's okay if we say his name, considering that's his art tag.
It's true. Well, we'll leave his tag in the description.
Yeah. If you're into his art, check it.
Faux show.
And also check my Instagram for some dank selfies and stuff and stream times. And also our Twitter, also our Facebook, also our Twitch. What else? Is that all we have?
Well, we should have a link for the YouTube now, right?
Me and YouTube are in a fight. I'm trying to get us a custom URL so it doesn't look like janky as hell in any of my other social media platforms. So maybe by this time next week, we'll actually have a real YouTube channel with a real custom URL. Moving on up in the world.
What up?
Other than that, Christmas is coming, so we might have a Christmas surprise for you. Maybe, probably.
Possibly?
I feel like we should do something.
We'll think about it.
Probably not, but, 'tis the season to be disappointed.
Yep.
Words to live by.
Jane's giving out Kwanzaa gifts. Fact.
Happy Kwanzaa, miss.
That.
Love you. Insert clever sign off. Here?
Bye.
Wait, your mom listens to this?
Yeah.
We need to cuss significantly less.